Today's episode is presented by Clark's. Clark's story began almost 200 years ago when Cyrus and James Clark made a slipper from sheepskin. At the time, it was groundbreaking, a combination of invention and craftsmanship that's remained at the heart of what Clark's does. From the very beginning, Clark's has always thought differently. Brilliant ideas are what set Clark's apart. We are teaming up with Clark's and Podgo to bring you up to 30% off select items, including the iconic Clark's Desert Boot, by going to podgo.co/Clarks. That's podgo.co/Clarks.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 260. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man? You know, I gotta say, this is our 1-year anniversary of coming back from PAX, right? It's the last time I actually saw you in person.
Oh my God. Yeah. Besides the rando, kind of video game trade drop-off stuff. Yeah, the last time we hung out was in Boston. It was freezing cold at PAX. And
it was.
My God.
In retrospect, it was probably not the wisest decision to go to Boston last year. No, and I'll be the first one to admit I had some hubris. I said, Sony doesn't know what they're doing. Capcom doesn't know what they're doing. They're just being paranoid. And then look at us now. I have egg on my face, so I profusely apologize. Those companies were ahead of the curve. They knew what was up. They said this thing is going to be disastrous. We are not going to PAX. And, I did get a little bit sick. You remember that, right? You did get sick, and we were concerned, if something was happening. I was spraying disinfectant all over the place.
Yeah, you were always above and beyond, but you're like, this is going to be like lockdown. It's going to be like outbreak. All right, this is going to be the sanitation tent.
But we won't. This time last year we were coming back from PAX. We had an awesome time at PAX. Mike didn't go last year.
Yeah, which was sad.
But we got to meet. We were chilling with Matt.
Yeah,
right?
that was awesome.
We met a lot of new people. And it was great.
Mm-hmm. Anthony came up for the day, and
oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about Anthony.
All right. We saw Steven on Sunday. All right.
Did we see wasn't there a proposal, or was that 2 years ago?
Two years ago, Steven's podcast co-host, she ended up getting married.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they got proposed.
Yeah.
She proposed.
Proposed to her, yeah. Proposed. Yeah. And it was amazing. It was a whole Final Fantasy, I think it was Final Fantasy VIII, Eyes on Me or something. There was an orchestra, and Steven's like, come over. You have to go and see this thing. It's going to be great. And it was super cool. All right. Those are the kind of things you see at PAX.
Also, it's the Switch's birthday, right? Like the Switch came out in March. Mm-hmm. And we went to PAX. So 4 years ago, 4 years ago around this time, the Switch came out, and we went to PAX, and we had a PAX I'll never forget because it was a snowstorm, and you got stuck in New York.
Oh my God, that's
Boston
right.
by myself for like 2 days.
I couldn't make it up Thursday because I had a work thing I had to take care of, and I was texting you or I called you. I said, Dan, I can't make it, and he's like, get the F out of here. I'm like, no, I really can't make it. I have a work thing I got to take care of. And fast forward, I got my flight changed to Friday, and then the giant snowstorm. So I didn't get there till Saturday morning. I slept in the airport, which is the worst thing in the entire world. Ugh. Terrible.
Yeah, but then when you finally got the PAX, you were just like exhausted just from trying to get there.
I was
all day.
I was. Hotel. I basically got to the hotel, and you're like, you ready to go to the show? I'm like, no, but I'm gonna go anyway.
Oh man, memories with so many. But the Switch is 4 years old, right?
I know. So, it's 2017. Wow. It's crazy.
It's and they said it's the halfway mark, so another 4 years.
Sure.
You think it can sustain another 4 years?
Well, I mean, we have some stuff I think coming up. You know, I don't want to necessarily like spill the beans on the situation, but I think Nintendo has some plans for them to stay another 4 years. So I think Nintendo will make it have staying power with Breath of the Wild 2 and Odyssey 2 or whatever that's going to be called, the new Metroid game. There's some stuff that'll keep people excited.
All right, but all right, I just want to talk like PAX.
Sure.
PAX 2021 is now June, right? Which any other year would be like awesome because we don't have to worry about any blizzards or it being like 20 degrees. Even though I'm not gonna lie, I think it's fun when it's super cold.
Yeah. Sorry, no. You remember the 1 year we were like.
PAX. We went. It was in April. I think it was after Easter.
Yeah,
and it was like super warm outside. It was a good spring day.
No. You're thinking about the year after when it was -15 and we couldn't walk because we were.
No. I was talking about the 1 year. The first year we went, it was in April.
Yeah, which is unseasonable. Right.
And it was like 50 degrees outside, 60 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's never
nice
like that.
Warm. We had t-shirts, and then after that, it's always been like 15. It's always been like 15 degrees.
Right. 2016 was brutal. It was one day it was 15 below with high winds. The next year was the snowstorm. Yeah, it's always super cold.
Yeah. Yeah, but June, I still don't think. I don't think they're gonna have an in-person PAX. I think it's gonna be no. Okay. According to some semi-inside sources from the Facebook PAX East group, I think there is a dental convention that is planned at the time that PAX is supposed to be going on. So I don't think it's happening in person. Okay. Let me just say this. Let me be the first to say this. I know what everyone's thinking. Why is there a dental convention? What can possibly be done at a I mean, listen, at a tattoo convention, I get it. You're going to go around, you're going to see the different tattoo artists, different, tattoo shops, and maybe actually get tattoos.
Sure, there's people that'll do it there. Yeah.
Are you gonna go to a dental convention and get a root canal in front of everybody?
It's a sales convention, Dan. It's a sales convention. They're selling all the fluorides and the instruments and the light lamps and the things that'll like make you bleed on the inside and wonder why you keep going to the dentist if your mouth is gonna get all bloodied. Okay. Yeah, they just want to sell you all the instruments.
All right, so a dental convention really is just for the dentist.
I mean, look, man, it could be really fun. We haven't gone yet, so I don't know. Like PAX East dental convention, know.
We'll go to both. Yeah, we'll stay in town for 2 weeks.
Why not?
All right, let's get this show on the road. We have an awesome show this week. We're going to talk about all the Switch Pro rumors that came out. All right, we're going to talk about the new Aliens game that was announced out of nowhere.
Right?
It shocked the crap out of me. But first, let's begin with the Wii U. Never thought I would begin a show with the Wii U nowadays, but the Wii U...
Right? It's almost 10 years old. Got
its first firmware update since 2018. So if you still have the Wii U plugged in,
I do.
Make sure you turn it on so you can get your firmware update. I think it's just for like stability purposes.
But like, why even? Like, I commit their, I congratulate their commitment to a platform that nobody's using right now. They're like, look, we're going to put this out. We're going to make the games that you want to play on there better, even though 90% of them are on the Switch right now. I feel like there's some other stuff at hand here. I think they're patching up some security flaws or silently taking down some services that people aren't really using anymore, because I don't think anyone's clamoring for more FPS in Wonderful 101, right? I don't know.
I mean, come on. I mean,
it feels a little suspect.
There's a great YouTube channel. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But this guy. I mean, I'll try to look for it after the show and tweet it out or talk about it next week. But he actually goes online on like old systems to see if there's still like a user base there. It goes on a Vita, goes on a PS3, 360, and a Wii U. And he went on a Wii U, and he said there's still people on, right? He's like playing tag team tournament, and he's like he could get matches.
That's awesome.
So
you know what?
Still a community. I mean, people still go online for the Dreamcast.
I mean, I know.
There are hacked servers where you go online, and they still make Dreamcast games. So,
That's true. You know,
I can see the same thing for the Wii U.
Yeah.
The number 2, top 3 most underrated system of all time, according to Dan Robinson.
Right. Saturn, original Xbox, and Wii U. I'm with you on the Wii U. I thought the Wii U was good. I think a lot of people dogged it. It had a lot of good stuff on there. And, you know, I think your point is strengthened every time they port a game from the Wii U to the Switch. All right? Because it's a game that nobody played. And when it comes to the Switch, it does phenomenally well. In the case of Bowser's Fury, I think was the last one, right? Super Mario 3D Land or World?
World.
Yeah, right. And it's selling like crazy, and everybody ends up loving it. So it means that nobody had the system, nobody ended up playing the game. It had good stuff on there. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, PSA people. If you have Switch Online, okay. Play that Mario 35th anniversary. Okay, if you only like digital games,
right?
Go get the Mario 3D collection, because they're all going to be taken down at the end of this month.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Okay, and then right after that, we're getting to the Zelda celebration or anniversary, right? So just don't forget about that. I know I want to play. I want another shot at that Mario 35th anniversary.
Do you want to get that number 1 spot?
I hit number 2, so I can
close.
I can hit number 1.
So close. You've almost reached ludicrous status, right? Going for that number 1 spot.
All right. For the collectors out there, also, if you're a collector, No More Heroes 1 and 2 came out on the Wii, backwards compatible with the Wii U. We were just speaking about the Wii U. If you want to play it on the Switch, physical editions, the pre-orders go up next week.
Nice.
On limited run.
Nice.
So,
you gonna get them?
I wish this was a combo pack.
You'd want the 1 and 2 together.
Yeah, it's separate. You got to buy it. So I think it's like $30-$40. So I got to pay $60 to have both.
60 to 80. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish it was a combo pack for just say $40, $39.99. I would do it in a heartbeat.
You could get the collector's edition for $70. It comes with the soundtrack and an art book.
Yeah,
that
I'm
looks
not
kind of
really
cool.
into collector's editions unless I have to.
Right.
Yeah.
I only
I don't have the room. I barely have the room for the.
Well, that too. Yeah, I'm looking at your back shelf right now, and you've got Ryu and Sonic and Nathan Drake and the Doom guy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm running out of room. I'm running out of room.
Sure.
So, if you're a collector, definitely you can pick up those physical editions for the Switch. Always good to have it on a cart opposed to the disc. right?
Right.
Because over time, disc rot. I mean, we don't know how our carts, how long they're gonna last.
Yeah, I mean, you can get some corrosion on the pins, but you usually are able to clean those,
Yeah.
with the right combination of alcohol. So
before we get into what we're playing, I just got to say this. Okay, this is why retailers and the platforms themselves should hate scalpers. Okay, I know you made the argument when we talked about when the PS5 and Xbox Series X were released. You said, "Who cares? They don't care."
right, they're still making money. Yeah,
they're still making money. But look what happened in the UK. Okay, as soon as the PS5 got restocked, right? Sales for Spider-Man Miles Morales skyrocketed. Okay, because now people have the systems in their hands. They want to buy what? The software.
right. You're right. And Miles Morales is like probably the best thing on the system, right?
If you're not into Demon Souls, which is an exclusive,
right?
Or if you don't want the Pathless, which you should, it's a nice sort of indie game. It is exclusive, platform exclusive at least right now. I think it's on PC as well. Miles Morales is like your next best thing, and it's a great game. It's more Spider-Man. Sales just skyrocketed because people are getting PS5s, right? And it just shows you. I mean, it's sold out still, but it shows you it didn't just go to all the scalpers. People actually got it in hand. So that's an awesome thing, and that's why.
Yeah, it's a good story, and
that's why. Well, I'm just saying that's why the stores should hate scalpers, because they would have a big attach rate.
You're not wrong, and they do rely on the accessories, and they do rely on the games and the whatever to kind of boost sales, right? It's a combination because you get the system, right? You need at least one game. You're probably going to buy a second controller, right? You may buy like a stand or a fan or a whatever. You may buy 2 games for it, right? And there you go. There's an extra $200 to $300 for every sale of one $500 system or one $300 system. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So, Dave, as we always try to start the show but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Oh, well, you'll be happy. The game that I think you picked up last year, the special edition of Grease for Nintendo Switch. That's the version I picked up.
Gris.
I think it's
Grease.
I think it's Grease. I think it may be French. I don't think Grease specifically means color. I could be wrong. It could be. It certainly could be Gris. I could just be putting a little salt and pepper on it when it doesn't need salt and pepper. But so I'm going to go ahead and call it Grease.
For the purposes of this conversation, you're going to call it Grease. I'm going to call it Gris.
Okay.
And one of us is saying potato, and the other one is saying potato.
Fair enough.
So, but before you get into that,
yeah.
I just got to share this. Okay. I didn't know if this physical the physical part of this game was going to be on sale ever again, right? I didn't know if I was going to be able to pick this up because it was sold out. The physical was sold out everywhere.
I know.
Except at Devolver's Digital's booth.
Yep.
They had the special edition, which came with this big art book and gloves. And it was massive. It was this big cardboard box.
I should have got a copy.
That didn't fit anywhere. I couldn't fit it anywhere. And I was like, how am I going to take this on the plane? How am I going to take this thing on the plane?
Right.
I went to like every store to find a duffel bag big enough.
That's right. That's right. You ended up getting one, right?
At the last minute, I got one. But I went to 5 days. I woke up that morning. We had a flight in the afternoon, and I went to every store to try to get it because I didn't want to FedEx it back to myself because it would cost $80. And I said, screw that. There's got to be a way I can fit this in a duffel bag. And at the last minute in Foot Locker, I found a duffel bag for $20.
That's right.
It barely fit, but it did fit. And that was like an adventure. It took me like an hour and a half to find a duffel bag.
So it only cost you $120 to play this darling little indie game.
No, it didn't cost me. I think the special edition cost like $80.
Yeah, plus the bag, which is another $20.
So okay, $100.
Plus, I think you may have had to check that bag. So whatever the check bag fee was.
I didn't check the bag. If you remember, I gave it to you. I gave it to you.
Oh, that's
you
right.
You had it.
That's right.
You had it as the bag that you took on the plane. And
that's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, so yeah, it's interesting. I'm definitely enjoying the game. 100%. It's super cool. You beat it, right?
I did not beat it. I got.
Oh, okay.
I want to say at least like 80% in, and then the sort of the puzzles got a little bit tough, and then I got into something else. Another game came out.
Okay.
I got to get back into it, but that special edition I hold dear to my heart because it really is. They made it sort of like a piece of art because it's an art book, but you have the gloves and everything that you got to put on. Like you would theoretically put on to open it up and stuff. Like
right.
A piece of art. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
So I still love that.
It's good. That's good. Theming on point, right? That's a solid special edition. It's not just a bunch of rando stuff in there to milk $100 out of you. I should have bought it. Well, how about you, Dan? What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K21 on the PS5. I have the PS4. I'm paying the PS4 edition. I am playing with I almost said the New Jersey Nets, with the Brooklyn Nets because I want to win. Okay, I don't like to play defense in games. I'm all about offense when it comes to the 2K games. But I hold a special place in my heart for the Knicks that are doing well in real life and in the game. They're doing really well. Right, we're almost about to make the playoff. We're about almost playoff time, and they're about to make the playoffs. So I hold them dear to my heart. But I've been playing the heck out of Super Mario Run on the iPhone.
Oh, throwback.
Yeah. I mean, they have like sort of like the remix editions where they you have to make it to the end of the stage and they remix it, and you get like different special coins, and you collect enough coins after you do like I think 10 different boards, and you get like all these decorations that could decorate your world. I'll be honest, I haven't gotten into any of the decorating or anything like that.
Right.
I just want to collect it all so I can say I have it all, and it's something fun to jump in and out of. And the music is amazing. Usually I play it without the music, but I was making breakfast the other day, and I was waiting for something, and I was cooking something in the oven, and I was like, let me play some Mario Run while I wait. And I had the headphones in, and I was like, I forgot how good the music was. Like this game, I know it's mobile. I don't play a lot of mobile games. This game is really, really good, and the music is really good too. So don't sleep on this. I don't care if it did cost only $10 or $20. Monetary wise, I don't really care about. The game is really good, and I wouldn't be surprised if one day they actually put this out on like on the Switch.
Yeah. Okay.
So don't sleep on it. You never bought it, right? Because it is out on Android.
I have the demo.
Oh, so you never paid the $10, $20, whatever?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I would say if there's a sale, which is probably not because Nintendo games, even mobile,
they never go on sale. Yeah.
I would say if you ever get a gift card or anything, pick it up and just try it. It's awesome.
Well, my issue was the like you had to like always ping the online servers, and you had to download a bunch of stuff with it. So it was a data concern. Like I wasn't necessarily mad about all of that, but it's an inconvenience when you're on the subway and it has to ping the server to say, "Can you play this game?"
True.
Which
you don't have that issue anymore.
No, I do, because I was just in the city, not the city, but Brooklyn, I guess. You
had to travel.
I was in right, and I have the Switch with me, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle, and it's like we got to check the servers because it's a digital only game, and I'm like, why can't you like get a license key that lasts a day or a couple of days? Why does it always have to check to see if you own the game? It's like, Christ, like it's not that serious, right?
Well, you know the way around that, right? You know the way around it, right?
The only way around that is to load up the game from home, get the license key and keep it in a suspend state. That's it.
Yes, that's the way around it. Just hit pause.
Yeah, Dan. No. Because if I want to go from one game to another, it's infuriating. Infuriating.
You know what, Dave? Don't jump game to game. Just finish it. Just finish it.
Well, I can't because I can't get into it. If I want to get to the game, I can't get to it. It's terrible. There has to be a better way.
Suspended, and then when you get to the subway, then
there has to be a better way.
I know. It should be. It should actually just ping it like once a day or once every other day or something.
Right, like even just do it in the background automatically. Take all your games, ping the server, get a key, and your key lasts 24 hours, right? And there's your temporary license, right? So,
I mean, if it's funny, like if you play PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live, I think they ping to see if you're able to play this game like once a week or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're stationary. You don't take them anywhere.
Well, and that's right. You know what? If they actually pinged you every time you wanted to play the game to make sure, that I understand, because like everyone's got internet, right? And you had to download the game from the internet service, from their Xbox Live or PlayStation Store, so you have it. Like it's not an inconvenience there. Yeah.
All right, Dave. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we're getting to the top gaming news of last week.
Mm-hmm.
This is Justin from the Lit Gaming Arena podcast, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers.
And we're back. Dave, before we get into the top gaming news of last week, I got to say, I got a little present that came while we were on break. And it was the Cyberpunk 2077 Collector's Edition strategy guide that was like half off.
Wow, that is a thick boy. 3 C's. Jesus.
Yes.
Jesus.
So, now that I have the PlayStation 5, and I have the strategy book, because I'm old school. I like having strategy books, and I like having a hardcover strategy books.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
I'm gonna jump back into Cyberpunk.
Nice. You should.
So hopefully it won't be as glitchy as when I was playing on a PS4.
Well, I mean, you got the horsepower of the PS5. You got a couple of new patches under their belt, so you make sure you get all those. And I think you'll have a much better time. It seems like people on the PS5 are having a good time with it.
All right, Dave.
Nice.
Let's get into the top gaming news of last week. We have to start with all the new rumors about the Nintendo Switch Pro. As people have coined it, we have no idea what it would be called. Right? I mean, you thought it would be the light switch. Right?
I thought, well, no, that is a missed opportunity on Nintendo's part. All right, they had those discussions.
You were wrong. It was not the.
They had those discussions internally, and they said, "No, we're just gonna call it the Switch Lite, not the light switch."
All right, but these rumors aren't coming from sort of industry insiders. They're coming from business insiders like Bloomberg. Okay, Bloomberg has a report out saying Nintendo is planning to unveil its new model with a bigger Samsung OLED display, which those OLED displays, if you remember, if you're a Vita owner, those original Vitas had great displays on them. They looked awesome.
They were OLED, huh?
Wow. They were OLED, yeah.
Wow, that was like probably one of the first OLED commercial screens. Damn.
So, and this new OLED switch will come out later this year, and it will output, when docked, 4K ultra high definition graphics.
Nice. So, I'll take it.
So the screen is a little bit bigger, so the Switch will be a little bit bigger. So it's not the same form factor as the regular Switch.
Right. But I mean, ideally, it should fit in the dock just the same way, right? It's that bottom connector, the USB-C thing. So as long as they don't make it fatter, like, as long as it's not like the depth isn't bigger, we should be good. The other thing I think that will be important for them to add to this in some way is the DLSS capability that NVIDIA has, and AMD is kind of doing their version of it, or they're like trying to roll their version out, which basically is a way to upsample the graphics, right? You can take
that's what the rumors are, that it is DLSS, and it will upscale the it won't be native 4K.
Right. And it'll go a long way. It'll go a long way if they do that, because you don't you only need the horsepower to output whatever your current resolution is, 720 or 1080 or whatever it is. The graphics chip will take care of it via AI to upsample it. And the results are really good. Like, I've been playing Cyberpunk with the DLSS enabled, which is awesome. And it really makes a big difference, right? So you don't get the big performance hit by like outputting 4K for everything, right? You can output at 1080 and then let the DLSS take care of it. It's so good, so good.
I mean, we've been hearing rumors it was supposed to come out last year, which
I know
could have been true, right?
I keep making it my prediction.
We got to put an asterisk on 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if there was no zombie apocalypse, we could have had a Switch Pro come out at the same time as the PS5 and the Series X. And some people argue that Sony and Xbox, well, Sony and Microsoft should have delayed the next gen until 2021, which theoretically if they would have still been manufacturing these in secret, right? Like they would have been fully stocked, like stores would have been fully stocked. And we wouldn't have had scalpers. They would have met demand. Wouldn't have been as prevalent as it is now, right? Right. So it could have been delayed, right? And I think this is a good thing. However, if they said the rumors are also, if you read the whole Bloomberg report, that they're not going to start manufacturing until the end of the year. There's no way it's going to come out at the end of the year. So we're looking at a 2022 release.
Could be March 2022, yeah.
Maybe the 5th year anniversary of the Switch, right? So I hope by then the zombie apocalypse has calmed down and stores will actually have physical systems in it.
They'll allow you to enter them and purchase things in store,
Yeah, but then if that's the case, then we won't have the same problem that we had with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. But there was one other rumor to go along with this.
Yeah.
That turned people, didn't make people happy. And that is the new Switch Pro, or I'm going to call the OLED Switch, as I'm going to coin it.
Sure. OLED Switch, yeah.
Will have exclusive games for it, just like the new Nintendo 3DS XL.
Well, 3DS and 3DS XL, yeah, both of them were capable. Yeah.
Had, because it was a jump in power, boost in power.
A little bit, yeah.
There were some games, there were only 3 games that came out that can only be played on the new.
Right, Xenoblade was one of them.
Xenoblade.
Chronicles, I think. Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles.
I can't even think of the other 2.
There was a Hyrule Warriors one that did play in the original.
Yes,
it did play in the original, but it was basically unplayable. It was unplayable.
If you played it on the original, it was unplayable.
Right. But you could do it.
It was the Cyberpunk of the 3DS.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Cyberpunk. It was super glitchy. I tried it.
It was
you couldn't play it.
It was trying to punch upward and just failing. Just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah. So how do you feel? How do you feel about this? It was according to a Reset Era user called Nate Drake. He's a proven, industry insider in the past from his past leaks. He says the Switch Pro will have exclusive games, especially from their third-party partners. Maybe like Cyberpunk, right? CD Projekt, right? Maybe Cyberpunk can be played on this new Switch, and only on this new Switch.
Well, I mean, I think the beefed up OLED version or whatever it's going to be called, or the Pro version, needs to happen for them to stay competitive, because they're already bumping up against these issues, right? We know that Bethesda is fighting the good fight and hiring these companies to do these ports, and they do phenomenal work.
Well, I got to stop you there. They used to fight the good fight in port games, but now, actually, in the U.S. at least, not overseas, the Microsoft Bethesda purchase. I'm going to say, who's their parent company? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
ZeniMax, yeah.
ZeniMax. That purchase has gone through in the U.S., so it's official. They own. They now own Bethesda.
Right.
So we don't know if they're going to do if they're going to continue to do that and port stuff to the Switch.
Well, okay, that whole situation aside, whatever they end up doing with
Doom 3, I think, is going to be exclusive to the Series X. I'm sorry.
I mean, all right, well, maybe, but the point that I was trying to make is that I guess I want to say Smilebit or whoever was doing the ports. I forget because it wasn't Bethesda specifically, but they did their best, and there was some really good stuff that came out of that. But it was very, very difficult, and there were some issues, and there were some patches that were put out to kind of smooth things over and all that. But they're really like bumping up against it, right? Even the port of Alien Isolation, which in some ways is better, surprisingly, but also they had to make some compromises, right? Having the extra headroom will just make it that much more enticing for third-party developers to come to the system. All right, that's the positive thing from it. The negative thing is that, yeah, because they're probably going to need to leverage the DLSS capability, right? The kind of upsampling, upscaling, or whatever horsepower and all the extra features that the new GPU has.
Panic button, by the way.
Panic button. Yes, thank you. So I think. Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of inevitable, like if that's the case, and if people want to keep porting over these big-name AAA titles, if we want to get a Red Dead on there at some point in time, this is what it's going to take, right? You're going to need a beefier system. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think every game is going to be like that. I think Nintendo is still going to cater to both sides, but maybe they'll have some other feature that's, like, unique to the system, and they're like, all right, this is only Switch Pro, or whatever.
Well, how about this? You want to talk about a great launch lineup?
Yeah.
The Switch Pro. Mm-hmm. Remember, the anniversary lasts through the end of the fiscal year. Right?
Sure.
Like Mario, the anniversary was in 2020, but it lasts until March, the end of the fiscal year. So Zelda would be the same way, right? I'm sure the Zelda anniversary will start around E3, and it will end in March. They will have a Zelda type Mario 35th anniversary, multiplayer.
Oh my God, I hope.
It's only for the online.
It's gotta happen
in March, and with the ending of it in March of 2022, they will announce the Switch Pro with the launch games of Breath of the Wild 2 and Red Dead Redemption and Cyberpunk.
Oh my God!
Only played on the OLED
Nintendo Switch. Woo! That would be fire. That would be fire.
How about that?
That would be fire. I personally wouldn't be mad at that, right? I could see some people being upset. I've had this console, now I can't play games on it anymore. You're segmenting the user base, and it's like, yeah, I mean, you make the same argument for the Game Boy Color, right? That was a refresh. I mean, some people consider it a different system altogether, but you can kind of consider that a mid-generation refresh of the OG Game Boy that was already at that point, I think, 6 years old. So
okay,
and there were games that were GBC only, right? Game Boy Color only.
So I think we're all jumping ahead a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. We're all looking for the Switch Pro. We're all looking for all these games, big open world games that probably can only be played on the Switch Pro.
Yeah.
And yes, I want that, but you know what I really want? I don't know if I want it more than that or just as much. You know what I want is just as much as that?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to play Netflix on my goddamn Switch. How about that?
Yeah.
Something
Fair enough.
Simple.
Fair enough.
Simple.
Right.
I can play it anywhere else.
Right.
I can't even play Netflix on there.
Right. It's a tablet that you can't use for streaming, really. I mean, it does have YouTube.
I can still play Netflix on my Wii U, which is going to end, I think, this month.
Oh, yeah?
Or
next
month.
The Wii U had it.
This month or next month. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it was ending at some point. YouTube support is ending on the Wii U.
Right.
But I can play. It's funny. I can play Netflix on my Wii U, but I can't play it on my Switch. Kind of weird.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, speaking of like, remember we mentioned at the top of the show where you mentioned about the guy who will go back and check out, online communities to see if they're still thriving and all that. It is slightly tangential, but just the kind of keeping things alive. I bought a TV a couple of years ago to go with my Wii U kiosk that I ended up picking up from GameStop because they were throwing it out. I needed to get a TV, so I got a TV from around the corner at work. Somebody was selling it, and I met up and said, all right, I'll take it. I ended up not using it for the setup yet, but I did hook it up, and I realized it had apps on there. So I tried to install the Netflix app, and I had to go through a bunch of updates, but it still worked. Nice. It was a 2011 TV that still had updates coming out for it, and they still supported Netflix. Netflix still ran. It was crazy. So I mean, it's got an ancient interface, but I mean, it works. You can watch your movies on there.
Well, everything is going streaming, right? I mean, now CBS All Access is turned into Paramount, right? Paramount Access,
right,
and everything. Everyone's throwing their hat into the streaming business, which is why Sony now has announced that they're ending PlayStation Store. They're no longer gonna sell movies and TVs on the PlayStation Store starting August 31st.
So you can't get like, Friends or Frasier or Iron Man or whatever for X amount of dollars. You can't rent it or buy it anymore.
And if you actually look at their media remote, they have Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu on their media remote that you could easily access on the PlayStation 5 with the remote. It'll just start,
really?
It'll just start. Yeah, it'll just start the app.
The PS
if it's downloaded. If it's downloaded.
So it has physical buttons for all those services from a PlayStation 5 branded remote. Wow.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they're going,
Uh-huh.
I'm sure Sony looked at the data and said people aren't buying these movies or aren't renting these movies or TV shows.
Yeah.
So
that's weird though. Like, I don't know why.
If the future, man, the streaming wars have begun.
Well, sure, but like if I actually use, because I use my TV for everything because it's just easy. It's got it all like built, like everybody's TV's got it built in, but it's got a good enough processor that it's good to use, and I just have one remote. I don't have to pick up the Xbox or the PlayStation remote. But people that use your system as the main entertainment hub, that use it for Netflix and YouTube and all that, I would be more inclined. I don't necessarily rent things. I just pay for the streaming service, but I would be inclined to rent stuff from there or buy digital versions of it, if they had them. And obviously, we know the quality is good. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's like just me. Maybe you're right. Maybe the fact that there's so many streaming versions and so many other ways to get that content that people were just like, Sony... The PlayStation 5 store is the last place they would look for it. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure, listen, again, if it's not profitable, it don't make sense. And they're going to trim the fat.
Yeah.
So, that's it. I understand why they're doing this. I mean, again, look at Peacock, right? Peacock now has sort of integrated the WWE network. So if you have the WWE network, right, you're going to automatically have Peacock.
Right.
So like everyone's trying to add content to make their service look more attractive.
Right. Yeah.
And honestly, once everybody has like the streaming services ready to go, you can own all of them and it'll be cheaper than cable. It'll be cheaper than cable.
I know.
Right? Because you can get all of them for, the most expensive one is Netflix, and that's like $12.
Yeah.
Everything else is like $7-8. And if, you take $60.
And there you go.
Then you go. You have everything you need.
And you can watch it.
TV. You have YouTube, and then you have all your streaming services.
You can watch it whenever you want too. That's the thing. It is on demand. You want to watch Tropic Thunder for the 19th time at 1 a.m? There it is.
You know what cable is going to be in 20 years? Cable is going to be where you can watch all the streaming services in one little place. Jesus,
right. It'll just be one channel that'll have all the different services, and you pick which one you have. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the only reason why I have cable is because my mom likes TV. Right? That's it. That's it. So,
yeah.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk about Epic Games. Man, Epic is really going after. I know you weren't so happy when they first entered the scene to face Valve,
right? Steam,
right?
Yeah.
They did what Stadia should have did, and they bought up a lot of exclusives for smaller games, the smaller games that had like hype around it. So if you wanted to play some of these smaller games on PC, you had to play through the Epic Game Store and not Valve and Steam, right? For at least a 1 or 2 year exclusivity.
Right. It was only on our platform that you had it.
Yes.
Right. And then it's kind of like, well, you're kind of roped into that because like Windows is a very open platform, right? You can have GOG, you can have Steam, you can have the Epic Game Store, right? And most games are on all these systems, right? You just download it and there it is, and there's your license.
Well, that's the only way they're going to be able to entice people to come to the Epic Game Store, right? Because talk about monopoly. I mean, Steam has sort of been a monopoly. They've been the only real game in town. They didn't have any competition until now. And Epic is going off that Fortnite money. And now they're gonna have one juggernaut. Now they have two because they just bought the developer. Was it Mediatonic that put out Fall Guys, which is like the new darling game right now. So they have both juggernauts. They have Fortnite and they have Fall Guys.
Yeah. So I don't know about you, but I think this is a pretty good purchase. All right, Fall Guys is solid. It's got a good business model. It's free to play.
It's a terrible purchase for Steam for Valve, but yeah, I mean for Epic, yeah, it's an amazing purchase.
Yeah, I mean,
Fall Guys is the new darling game, right?
Yeah, and it has the microtransactions that'll push the game through, right? You can buy all the costumes you want and whatever else, or you can grind it out and earn them. The player base is pretty good. They've been good with the season updates, right? They're already on I think season 3, and they've kind of themed a lot of them. There's some crossover stuff, which is kind of cool. I'm pretty sure you can get. I think you can get Gordon Freeman's outfit from Half-Life in Fall Guys, as well as some other cool outfits.
I wouldn't be surprised as when we get a Fortnite sort of crossover with something, it will be Fortnite and Fall Guys crossover, right?
For sure.
Next time we get an Avengers crossover with Fortnite or whatever the new hotness. When Black Panther 2 comes out, right? It's gonna be a Black Panther 2 skin with Fortnite. It'll be with Fortnite and Fall Guys.
And also, you'll
get it on both.
100%. Yeah, 100%. The only thing that I'll say about this is, what is Mediatonic going to do next? Right? Because Fall Guys, nobody realized Fall Guys would be such a big success. But what's their follow-up game going to be?
Do they have any other games?
I'm pretty sure this is their first game, Mediatonics. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is their this is their game. This is their kind of first one out the gate. So they kind of lightning in a bottle.
Even if it's not their first game, it's their most successful game. It's definitely their most successful game.
Right.
So no, they had another game that was Murder by the Numbers. Murder by the
Murder by Numbers is a game. Yeah. It was on the Switch and Steam. And I guess they also have Heaven Strike Rivals, which looks like a Japanese or Chinese game. They do have some other games. None that I've really heard of.
Mediatonic has been around for a while. They've been around since the mid 2000s. So
yeah, okay,
they
fair
have
enough.
Other games, but Fall Guys is their most successful game, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
now they have the backing of Epic, where maybe they could either boost some of their games that they have in their some of the games they have in sort of in their stable, where they can put some money behind it to make it better, or with whatever sequels that come out or anything like that, or they can help out with whatever Epic Games that staff to help out with whatever Epic Games is working on next.
Oh sure. Yeah, I did not realize, but they made a bird dating simulator game. I forgot about that. Hatoful Boyfriend. Okay, yeah, so they definitely do have a decent stable. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Now we got to talk about this next story, because this came out of nowhere. I was shocked and confused. I thought this was an early April Fool's joke. I was there's a new co-op shooter Aliens game called Aliens Fire Team, and it just came out. The trailer just dropped out of nowhere. The studio is Cold Iron Studios and 20th Century Games. Just dropped this out of nowhere, and IGN had 25 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah. It looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It's anything that's kind of aliens related is always going to be super cool. It has long history, some ups and some downs. But we know that Alien Isolation was amazing. You know, some people didn't necessarily like it so much because it was like spooky, scary horror game, and that kind of turned people off a little bit. But nobody like said, "Oh, this is a bad game." A lot of people said, "Okay, this game isn't for me." But good reception for that game. It sold well. Good critical reception. So coming off of that, I think the hype is high. Everyone is looking forward to a good game.
I would say this. Let's say this game sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up on Aliens.
Well, no,
I'll tell
never.
you why.
Never.
I'll tell you why. And it's one word. Disney. When Disney bought Fox,
Oh, yeah.
they own this IP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is obviously, because this was a stealth drop and we got gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
this was already in the works. Just like, you know, Indiana Jones or Doom on the Switch.
Sure.
Right? Like all of that was already in the works. Or Deathloop for PS5 exclusive, timed exclusive. Already in the works before Microsoft bought ZeniMax.
Right.
So this was in the works before Disney bought Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So even if this game sucks,
there's something else that's going to come in its place eventually.
Don't give up. Don't give up on Fox. Don't give up on Aliens, because Disney controls Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney will, you know, if this doesn't work, Disney will reboot this and say, no, we're going to, you know, it's going to put this on ice for a minute, and then we're going to rework this into something better with the companies that we have, you know, deals with, like EA and stuff like that. So, so I'm not too worried about this. I don't care. I don't care if this is good or bad.
Right.
Because no matter what it is, Disney is going to control whatever happens in the future.
All right. So this is from Cold Iron Studios, right?
Yes.
They're the developers, as well as 20th Century Games, I think, is also a part of this. Looking at their website, it just says that they're hiring, which is interesting. So I don't know. I don't know if they have any other pedigree, right? Because they started in 2015. So I think this may have been their baby, the game that they've been working on, like you said, stealth behind the scenes. So,
well, this could be the test run for Disney to make a good showing, right?
Right.
To see if they will continue to make.
Yeah,
you know.
and like looking at the gameplay trailer that they had, which was awesome, by the way. I thought it looked really cool. It seems like it's following how the first two movies were, right? Where the first one was like a horror movie, and the second one was an action movie. I think the games are following the same situation here, right? Isolation was a horror game. This is more like kind of run and gun, bang bang, shoot 'em up type situation with like your team. So, yeah, it could be awesome. You know, it could be awesome.
Play it. Let's go. I'll be down to play it.
Right.
All right, let's switch gears and let's talk about Stadia. Trust me, I don't want to talk about Stadia. But
why not, Dan? Why not?
Why not? I mean, let me ask you a question. Do you still have your free no, your free trial is over, right?
Oh, my free trial ended a while ago, yeah. They were supposed to send me a free controller though, and I never got it.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's why I don't want to talk about Stadia. You didn't get your free controller. Because they made a lot of promises.
Salty.
They made a lot of promises that they didn't keep. Which is why they have a class action lawsuit against them, which we're not going to get into. But we will get into this. According to reports published by VGC, they stated that Google had turned down proposals by Kojima and Yu Suzuki, like for games to be put on Stadia, and the decision came from Phil Harrison, the GM of Stadia himself, last year, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, if you think about it, if Kojima, you know, the guy who made Death Stranding, and like, listen, I got a horror game I'm working on,
right?
And you know what? I can put it on Stadia if you help me with the production of it. Let's do something. I'm gonna put that on Stadia. I'm gonna get Kojima. There's already rumors that Kojima is working with Microsoft because Phil Spencer had a Kojima statue in the background. Right?
Everyone's speculating.
I'm gonna kibosh and say not happening, because I just don't think Sony. I think Sony would be okay with Stadia, but I don't think Sony would allow like a horror game, especially if it's Silent Hill,
Right.
I know Kojima Productions isn't a first party studio, but
Right.
Sony helped facilitate that to happen. Right.
They bankrolled it essentially. Yeah.
So
I think you're right. Sony doesn't want to give that
Phil
up.
Spencer is just trolling us.
Yeah.
I think Phil Spencer is just trolling us. But Phil Harris, if this is true, which to be fair, Google denies the reports, but I got to be honest, I feel like this is true.
Oh, right. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and play devil's advocate because you mentioned Yu Suzuki, you mentioned Kojima, right? Yu Suzuki has a great track record for sure, but Yu Suzuki, and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he also Shenmue?
Which is a great style of a game that would work on Stadia.
It would, but
it would be a great Stadia only game.
It would, but Shenmue 3 was a train wreck. It was not great. It wasn't as well received.
I'm gonna say, if you are a Shenmue fan, like if you were like a hardcore Shenmue fan, you probably loved Shenmue.
Oh sure, yeah, because it's just like 1 and 2. Yeah.
I just don't think Shenmue has that same staying power as it did. It was the most expensive game ever made in its day.
At the time, yeah.
At the time.
Sega put all their weight behind it. Yeah.
Sega put all their weight behind it, and Shenmue 2 also I think it was well received. I haven't heard anything bad about Shenmue 2 that came out on the Xbox, the original Xbox, which was the second most underrated console of all time, by the way, just in case you didn't know, according to Dan Robinson.
You got to let people know. You got to get the PSAs out there.
The man, he worked on the Genesis, right? Outrun.
Oh, yeah.
He worked on a lot of Outrun, Afterburner 2, the Virtual Fighter series he worked on.
Right. No, we certainly could have gotten not Shenmue. We could have gotten the new Virtual Fighter. We could have gotten the new, Hang On. We could have gotten anything.
IP, but he doesn't own IP, but he has a pedigree in the industry, and this is
right.
You want to work with, just like Hideo Kojima, right? Like you get that horror game at the next level that maybe has some stated exclusives to it. I just think I just don't have any. I'll be honest, I don't have any confidence in Phil Harrison. I mean, the man worked for Sony when they launched the PS3, and then he worked for Microsoft when they launched the Xbox One. So he has a terrible track record.
You kind of want that
companies when they launch in a system.
You kind of want that to be the other way around. You want to be the launch of the 360 and the launch of the PS4.
Yeah,
that's the better experience. Oof. Yeah.
So he has a terrible track record, and they put so much money into having big games like Red Dead and Cyberpunk, and they put tens of millions of dollars into that, and Ubisoft, right? Like put tens of millions of dollars to have Ubisoft games, where maybe they should have stepped back and maybe not try to get Red Dead right away. Maybe have Cyberpunk. I can understand Cyberpunk, right? You don't know it's going to be a dumpster fire. It's the next big open world game, right? So I can understand having Cyberpunk, but maybe put some money like Epic Games in different smaller hyped games, right? Like it'll be cheaper, and you want to have some quantity of exclusives of this is why you can play it only here. I mean, look at Apple Arcade.
Right.
You can say what you will about Apple Arcade, but a lot of the indie darlings come out on Apple Arcade first.
You're right, and they look beautiful. They're very like visually appealing. The soundtrack is usually like bananas. They have a good aesthetic to them that make you say, "Oh, I really want to play this game, but I can't." And I think if Google had a handful, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different indie games that are different. Here, this is a twin stick shooter. This is a puzzle adventure game. This is a whatever. You're gonna find something, and you're gonna say, "All right, I'll pay $10 a month. I'll pay $15, whatever the price is. I don't even know." And they may retain some customers, and then those customers may say, "Well, hey, I can also play all these AAA games, right? I can play all this other stuff on there. I don't have to spend $2,000 on a high-end PC, right? Then your proposition looks a little better. And right now it looks like crap.
And I think the messaging is off too, because right now there's a free version of Stadia that people don't even know about. Like I didn't even know about it until I went on Stadia.com. I was kind of curious, and there's a free version that you can get.
Well, it's free, but you still have to buy each game.
I know, but that's what they should be pushing, right? They should be touting, hey, there's a free version, and there are certain games you can play for free. Maybe
there's a few that they give you, yeah.
Not the sexiest games, but they should be pushing that for free, starting for free, right, on Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
I think the marketing's all wrong. I think the strategy's all wrong.
Yeah.
They should have been pushing for Kojima and Yu Suzuki to come up with games to put on Stadia, because those are, they've been in industry for 20 plus years, right? Like, this is what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Stadia is a dumpster fire right now. And I said, Google has given up on a lot of things. Google just gave up recently on their VR cardboard set, right?
Yep.
Headsets. So that's going to be discontinued. So it's not surprising that Google shut down their first party studio for Stadia. And you never know, Stadia may be sold to the highest bidder, the technology wise.
Prediction,
so I think that's what's going to happen.
I think you're right. I think the service known as Stadia, give it a year tops.
Wow, a year? No, I say
6 months. How long?
I say 3 years before they shut the doors completely.
3? Oh no,
3.
no.
And I say early 2023. They're going to shut it completely.
Wow. Oh, I would almost make a bet with you on that, but I know not to bet with you anymore.
Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. Speaking of buying games flat out, regardless of the platform, Stadia or PlayStation or Xbox,
right? Take-Two
thinks that gamers are ready for $70 games. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick feels that gamers are ready for more games that hit the $70 price range, right? As long as they're quality. And I got to tell you, I'm willing to pay I've been willing to pay $70 since last generation.
Oh, wait, really? Okay.
Well, look, Nintendo 64 games were like $70, $80, right? Like, they were expensive. They weren't cheap.
Because of cartridges. It was on a cartridge though, right? Cartridges
the reason is irrelevant. They were $80. They were $70, $80 back in the late '90s.
Right, but that's why they're sure. But that's why they're bringing it back around again and saying production costs have gone up, so the game prices need to go up, right? Inflation has gone up a little bit, so that's like the reason for it. Am I ready to pay $70? No. I still want to pay $50.
Well, the last big jump was 360 PS3 ever.
Yeah,
and it became 60 officially, right?
Yep.
Before then, it was like 50.
It was, 50, and if you remember back in the PS1, Sony first-party games were $40.
Yes,
they were always $10 cheaper, which was like, hey, and Sony was putting out good stuff. So I was like, yep, I'll take Gran Turismo for $40.
I would honestly, $70 makes sense. Games have gotten large in scope. We're always talking about frame rate and graphics. Mm-hmm. And if we want these big open world experiences and not linear experiences, FYI, not me. I'll take the linear experience.
Right. Right.
$70, paying $69.99. I'm fine with it. I'm all for it.
I think it's inevitable. It's bound to happen. It's definitely going to happen. We already saw a handful of games at $70, right? The next gen versions.
Well, next gen, the PS5, PS5 games. Sony has adopted $70. They're definitely leading the way with the $70. Yep. But Microsoft sort of taking a step back because they have and to be fair, they don't really have a lot of exclusive games, if any exclusive game, other than the medium.
They have the medium.
Let's see. You know what? Halo will be the test. Let's see what Halo Infinite. How much that's going to cost.
I think Halo is going to be 70. Yeah.
I think Halo is going to be 70 too.
Yeah. Although I already bought my copy at $60, so. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're going to be able to bump up the price.
If anything, Halo's going to be $70, or Halo will be the last $60 game from Xbox.
No, I don't think they can, because they already had it on sale and people have a ton of pre-orders. Then Halo will be the last $60 game from Microsoft. There you go. Yeah.
Let's see what the next first party game, how much that's going to cost.
Right.
Especially if it's the next Elder Scrolls or what's that new Bethesda RPG game?
Starfield?
Starfield. Let's see how much Starfield is going to cost.
All right.
So, all right, let's end the news with Super Nintendo World.
Mm-hmm.
We both saw all the pictures from Japan. They were supposed to have a soft open in February. I think that got delayed.
Yeah.
Which is still mind-boggling that they even tried to have a soft opening.
I know, because Japan is most of Asia is a land of wearing masks. Like they've been wearing masks forever because it's just common courtesy. You don't want to get other people sick. So that was like kind of a thing. They're always pretty high on public safety in that way. Yeah, weird to see them try and open like that.
But it looks like Super Nintendo World Orlando, park in Orlando, is going to be delayed until 2025. I think it was slated to be open in 2023, but it makes sense that it would be delayed out. Construction on that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they don't really need to be worried about doing construction on that right now because it's not going to open anytime soon.
Right.
I don't know how licenses work as far as theme parks go, right? Like, you delay it out 2-3 years because it's not fully built out. Maybe you don't have to pay the full license price for it because, it's going to come out in 2023. It's going to make its money back pretty quickly, right? All the people coming every year to the theme park and the hotel because they were going to have a themed hotel with it as well.
I don't know. I don't know about that licensing because, like, if you want to make you say, hey, I want to make a new, let's just say I could get the rights to Indiana Jones, right? You got to pay up front for the license, right? It's not like, well, you pay in full when the movie comes out. I think you if they want $2 million, there you go.
Making a game or a movie is different from making a theme park, right?
Is it?
The actual. Oh, well, yeah, it is. Big surprise.
Well, I mean, because you have to physically produce something, but you still need to acquire the license regardless.
I'm not saying they're not paying for it. I'm just saying that it's a possibility they're not paying full price right now for
maybe.
it. Right?
Yeah. Maybe there's some weird back end deal or something where it's like
working in a law firm. I'll tell you, you always put contingencies in contracts.
Sure.
And this was something that was, you couldn't foresee a pandemic when they got in the contract.
Exactly,
so
right?
It has to be something in the contract that says, yeah, we're paying you X amount because we're building it and because we're slated to open in 2023, let's say. But if, something unforeseen happens that's beyond our control, we will pay a lesser amount, right? And it would be delayed a certain amount of time.
This could constitute the pandemic. I mean, could constitute an act of God possibly or something. So yeah. I mean, it could be like a number of things. It's sad that it's now 2025. It feels like so far away.
But the zombie apocalypse should be taken care of. We should be.
Oh, it better be. Everybody better be vaccinated by 2025. Get your shots, people. All right, get your shots. Jesus, I want this thing to be like. Tamped down. All right.
All right, Dave. News is over.
Mm-hmm.
It's the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You got any good weekend plans? Got any big weekend plans? Did you do anything crazy this weekend?
I mean, I got a couple of pickups. I will say this: if you're looking to be brave and venture outside, GameStop is having a 5 for $10 deal.
I saw that.
5 for $10, man. Any game that's $4.99 and under, you can get 5 for $10. I will say it was hard. I think I found the only games that were $4.99. So, picked up a couple of those, and I'm still working out the grand plans for my outdoor deck. It's gonna be fantastic this summer. So, once you get your shots, you got to come by, hang out on the new deck. It's happening, Dad.
How about you? Cyberpunk doesn't swallow me up. I mean,
oh boy,
I got the Cyberpunk strategy guide.
You're going to be deep in it.
I'm gonna go jump right back into Cyberpunk and see what, hopefully with no issues, and see what this game's about, and see if it's a game that we should have nominated for Game of the Year.
You got to take down the corporation, man. Got to take down that corporation. Good deal.
Okay.
So, all right, that's episode 260 in the books, right? We want to thank you guys for listening to the show and sticking with us and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. And if you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.